Welcome back. After that grueling business last year, I decided to talk about video game villains. The video game's antagonist, the miscreant, the offender, the unspeakable cad, the lawbreaker, the wrongdoer, the downright bad 'un, the bad egg, the cheeky little scoundrel, little reprobate, yeah. The rogue, somewhat lovable at times, others not so lovable. The lawbreaker, the criminal, the con, the baddie, the big boss, the ruffian, the unspeakable cad. Ooh, exciting stuff. Watch out. This is a list of video game villains, or scallywags, that from games that I've beaten. The top 10. There's 10 of them. Might throw in some honourable mentions. I have a customary honourable mention before number 1. As is custom. Have at you. Oh yeah, spoiler alert. If you don't want to get spoilers for games, don't watch this. Play the games then. Come back. Watch it later. Number 10. This is a character from The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, which I believe is a prequel from Life is Strange 2, and a sequel, I guess, to Life is Strange 1. Sort of like a tie in the middle. I've not played Life is Strange 1 or 2. I've only played The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, and this guy, his name's Charles Erickson. He's the dad in The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, and Charles is basically a bastard. He's dickhead. He's like the father of the character that you play, this little boy called Chris. Yeah, Chris. That was it. I'm gonna call him Chris. Charles is basically, he's like fairly one-dimensional. He's not like you. Not like, maniacal laughter villain. He's more like, he's like drunk dad, like he's suffered trauma. I think Charles's wife and Chris's mom died in a car crash. Charles takes this terribly, and he's big alcoholic, drunk, his dad, all this, hey son, brr, and he takes it out on Chris. He's not a traditional villain per se, but he's been in the situation long enough, and he's not helping himself, and he's taking it out on others, thus metamorphosizing into becoming the villain himself. Crazy, I know. Whoa, crazy. One of the reasons I've picked him as one of my sort of notable villains in a video game that I've beaten is because he's very grounded in reality, and it's like, could happen to anyone. He's not like got magic powers or anything that I know of. I haven't played the first game or second game, so it might happen. It might even be expanded upon later. Like, he might have a bit more to him. It's very grounded in reality, and it sort of could happen to anyone, kind of thing. Anyone could be. That situation's happened to lots of people. It sort of touches a bit of a core for people. And he's like one of the awful things is he makes, not only is he abusing his son, he blames Chris, his son, and makes him feel like the death of his own mother is his fault. Charles Erickson's a pretty awful human being by this point. It's a good game. I would say have a go with it. It's really short and really quite powerful. Charles Erickson, number 10. Number 9 is from this little gem. Clonoa, daughter Phantomile. Phantomile. I have always called it Clonoa, daughter Phantomile. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. And the villain I've chose from this, the main villain, not Joker. Joker's great, but the main villain, big, dark, mysterious, beaky, cape-clad, vamp, Guardius. What? Guardius. Really need help pronouncing some of this. Guardius. I need help. Guardius. It's probably that. Yeah, probably that. In the game, he's basically a dark spirit. Got a big dark spirit. Effectively, Guardius personifies sort of darkness and evil and nightmarish dreams, that kind of thing. He's all sinful and bad, ominous. Ooh, very, very scary, very serious stuff. Very scary. And Guardius. He's jealous of the spirit of light, because the people of Phantomile, all the people of Phantomile, they basically like worship this spirit of light, and they sort of adore the spirit of light. So in jealousy, in a jealous, evil rage, Guardius wants to destroy them all and cover the land in sort of like darkness and nightmares and stop all happy dreams and all this da happiness. Gone. Dead. Kaput. Destroyed. Gone. Gone. He's so brooding. He literally says, "I've been abandoned by the world." Can you imagine feeling like that? Well, the world's abandoned you. Of course you'd want to destroy. I think he's a great baddie. Really good baddie. For starters, his voice is so deep and ominous. You want to hear it. If you haven't played it, put it on. Or YouTube him. Anything. His voice is just so... You want that again? Shall I do that again? His voice is so... He's got such a deep, terrifying voice. And that mask. Got this big beaky hell mask. His eyes are red, like blood red, like the Gruffalo. Has the Gruffalo got red eyes? I don't think he's got red eyes. And his cape. And he opens this big, long cape. He's got like the universe inside it. This big vortex. And he like sucks up Laphise, the diva, the legendary diva, in the first level. He just goes, and then he kind of wraps himself up in his magic cape and zips off into space. It's crazy. And he's got this big... Have you seen the size of this? Have you seen the size of this collar? It's like Count friggin' Dracula. It's awesome. Nothing says baddie than hell mask, red eyes and big them things. I mean, he looks the part, doesn't he? It's a good baddie design. He comes complete with maniacal laughter. So Guardius number 9. Number 8. Villain number 8 is Lan Di from Shenmue. We've never played Shenmue 3. Only played through 1 and 2. Not this version yet. Only these two. He's epic. Lan Di is an incredible baddie. I mean, the introduction alone to Lan Di right at the start of the game, it leaves that impact straight away. You're there and you're... Spoiler alert. It's like he kills Ryo's father, like straight away in front of him. And he's diabolical. He's just murderous. He'll do anything to get what he wants. Nothing will get in his way. And if it does, he's going to murder you. He's the head of like a shady organisation. I'm still not 100% on because I've only done 1 and 2. Don't know where it goes in 3. So I don't know what other stuff happens there. So he's still a bit of a mystery to me. Lan Di is one of those that throughout the game, he doesn't have that many appearances in 1 and 2. So you're sort of just learning and finding out information as you go. But his presence is always there, and that's fantastic. You constantly feel like this foreboding and that he's always kind of watching or around. The game does a really good job of bigging him up as like this big bad. He looks so suave, and he's insanely good at martial arts. Like, you don't want to fight him. Do not want to fight him. Because he'll whoop you. He'll just beat you up. Just kick your ass. Lay a few punches. Take it to Pound Town. Pound Town, is that a thing? He's a very skilled fighter, nonetheless. And there's this really cool bit in Shenmue 2. Like, bear in mind, you haven't really seen Lan Di at all. And you have to chase him all the way to Hong Kong. You fight this guy on this roof. But then this helicopter comes up. And Lan Di is there, like an absolute badass, just hanging on this ladder at the bottom of this helicopter, like just looking Ryo in the face. It's like staring at him, just like he's just on this chopper this whole time, just like, yeah. Like it's nothing. So cool. And after this stare down at the end, it just flies away. Doesn't say a word. Does not say a word. Just keeps that air of mystery. Gives you enough of him to go, I want to catch him. I want to catch that bastard who killed my dad. Villain number 8, Lan Di. Whoa, such a badass. Rome has fallen and the world is up for grab. Villain number 7. You. It's you. Don't worry, it's me as well. It's also me. It's okay. It's also me. Villain number 7. Oh, you in Age of Empires 2. Whatever version. Do you know how many people died in the 100 Years' War? Throughout all the campaigns scenario, you are ruthlessly slaughtering million upon million upon million of innocent people. Maybe not some of them aren't innocent. Every Civ's got their bad bunch, haven't they? It's murderous. Just murderous. Just for fun. You ought to be ashamed. Seriously. This is horrible. You want to take a look at yourself. Number 7. You. Age of Empires 2. Villain number 6. King Bohan from Heavenly Sword, in what is possibly Andy Serkis's finest defining of performance of all time. He's hilarious, but terrifying. Raving mad. Absolutely bonkers and loving it. Like, he's absolutely bonkers. I mean, for starters, he killed his own dad just so he could become king. I mean, that's something's going on up there. And he unites himself, like physically, with this Raven Lord type spirit, because being king isn't enough for Bohan. No. He wants to be a god. He wants to be the strongest thing ever and just rule everything. The greedy little fella. Every time he's on screen, he's so entertaining. He's hilarious, yet terrifying as well. Like, he's not one of these things, oh, he's very funny. He's a because he's really like goofy funny. Like goofy, zany, kind of like cartoony funny. But that doesn't make the moments where he can be really, really intense. That doesn't stop the intensity in the performance, because he's a downright nasty character as well. For example, his son, like, he's awful. He's constantly abusing his son, telling him, like, calling him names, saying he's useless, and just throwing him off as like I said, like a little boss thing. Go and, feeding them to the lions, basically. Here you go, son. You go fight the bad. You stop them. Go on. I don't care about you. Don't care if you die. And he says these things. Like, he's all like, oh, okay, Dad. I mean, the son's like, he's massive. Like, he's like a big giant. He's like Brock Lesnar, crossed with that big sneezing turtle mountain in Neverending Story. Oh, I've just remembered Neverending Story. King Bohan is an absolutely fantastic baddie. So good. I mean, the game's worth playing just for Andy Serkis's performance alone. He's perfect, absolutely perfect, and he made the game so entertaining. The game is fantastic, but him as villain, it was the cherry on top. Give another Oscar. It's a very old game, won't even be in the running for it anymore. Villain number 6, King Bohan from Heavenly Sword. Villain number 5, Liquid Snake from Metal Gear Solid. Seriously, you could do a whole video of just villains from Metal Gear Solid franchise, let's be honest. There are so many good characters. He's a clone from Big Boss, who's regarded as the ultimate soldier, the ultimate mercenary. So they clone Big Boss, and one of those clones is Liquid Snake, the brother of Solid Snake, the character that you play. Liquid is the leader at this point of an elite sort of special ops group called Foxhound, an eclectic group of characters, some of the finest characters ever established for a video game. It's not just one-dimensional baddies, they've all got a backstory, and they're all unique, and it's down to Liquid Snake to lead this menagerie of reprobates. I really have to say that the voice actor for Liquid Snake absolutely nails his job. Like, he's so good. Like, he gives off this kind of like suave, dangerous James Bond type mystery 007 gentleman but ruthless killer type vibe. His intro to the game is when Solid Snake comes out from the elevator, and he comes out in the heliport, and you have this conversation between Liquid Snake and some soldiers and whatnot, and he just so nonchalantly, they say about like, oh, there's a couple of planes coming to attack or fly overhead or whatever, and he has the coolest tagline before he signs off. He goes, I'm going to swat down a couple of bothersome flies. Oh, that's so cool. Ooh, Liquid! He's so dreamy. He's awesome. Like, the introduction to him is brilliant. Boss fights with him. You fight him when he's in his helicopter at some point at the top of this tower, and he's just firing. Look, he's attacking one individual human in a Hind D Russian gunship. It's so over the top, but it's so cool that he would do that. You have to fight him in Metal Gear Rex himself, so he's actually controlling Metal Gear Rex while you're trying to like blow him up and stuff like that. So he's a very sort of like versatile guy. It's a part where Metal Gear Rex dies, and you fight him like on the top with you got your shirts off. It's all very sort of like, brother. Boom, 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 boom. There's also a bit where you're chasing him. He's shooting at you taking a big jeep. You have to have this big road car chase down there, and he's all mad. He's a master of disguise. He disguises himself as Solid Snake's mentor. He's ruthless. He's a great fighter. He knows multiple languages. Very intelligent villain. Very deep story to this villain. If you haven't played Metal Gear Solid or any of them, I would recommend playing them because you're missing the hell out. So, Liquid Snake at number 5. Brother! Number 4. Count Dracula himself from Castlevania. What can you say? It's Dracula. Blood-sucking Dracula. He's a vampire. He's the vampire. I mean, come on. Dracula. As you're playing through Castlevania, you go through the castle itself. You can't help, I can't help but feel that, Dracula could be round any corner. Feels like Dracula's entity is Castlevania, the castle itself, as well as physical Dracula, this physical Dracula. He's just a classic baddie all round. And when you eventually sort of do arrive to him in the first game, and you're climbing up those steps, it's just iconic. And you've got all the music going, and you're climbing up the steps. You're like, oh god, this is the It's the boss fight, isn't it? It's the final boss, this. It's really tricky to get the hang of it. He's shooting fireballs off like... I don't think he does that. And then the second bit, but you have to hit him in the head, and it's so specific. And there's fire in there, and then you go through all that rigmarole. You finally, after game over, after game over, after game over, you finally kill the bugger, and you're like, yes. Then you find out that wasn't even his final form. Dracula just morphs into this great big kangaroo jumping demon beast. This white friggin' this gargoyle jumping armpit bat, and it's just like, oh no, oh, not again, not more. I mean, he's got a cape. He does have a cape. Even later iterations of him, saying like Symphony of the Night, Rondo of Blood, Dracula, he's just like got this kind of like regal air about him. Like, something about Dracula as a villain. I think everybody who plays games knows of the "What is a man?" quote. That will remain forever a piece of gaming history. The father of Alucard could turn into a bat. Could you turn into a bat? Number 4, Dracula from Castlevania. Villain number 3, the Baker from Grimm's Hollow. Now, I won't give any major spoilers. I'll try not to give many spoilers about this game, because I recommend playing Grimm's Hollow so much. It needs a bit of funding and to remake this thing into a proper full-fledged thing, because it's so good and it's so real. So real. You just play it. Play Grimm's Hollow. Play Grimm's Hollow now. Do it now. Turn the video off. Don't turn the video off. Come back after. Yeah. Check out after. The Baker from Grimm's Hollow. Really good villain. Maybe not a villain on purpose, but definitely a villain. Without giving too much away, the main character has something of incredible value, which the Baker takes advantage of the main character's trust, and I'll just say it, nicks the thing of value. It is a life or death scenario. It's so sad. It's so sad. It's really sad. It's touching. Really friggin' moving game. But at the beginning of the game, it's just a baker. So you go into the dungeons and you come out, and then you can just buy like baked goods from the baker, and that will heal you and things like that. But eventually, the baker comes with you into the dungeon to do certain things, and then it becomes apparent what the baker's motives were, and it's all so tragic and the feels, man. Play Grimm's Hollow. The Baker from Grimm's Hollow, villain number 3. Play Grimm's Hollow. Villain number 2 is Scott Shelby from Heavy Rain. This is one of the last games that I pulled an all-nighter on. I couldn't put it down. I just kept guessing. I had to know what was going to happen next. It's like, I'm dead tired. It's bedtime. No, just had to keep going until the end. I had to. And Scott Shelby, he's like a private investigator. I think he's like a military guy back then, like an ex-police, that kind of thing. And he's so warm, welcoming, and helpful, and like you want him to be your dad. Do you know what I mean? You want him to. You want to feel safe. Scott Shelby makes you feel safe. Don't fall for it. There's 4 characters that you play. There are 4 characters that you play throughout the game. You're trying to figure out who this child killer, this origami killer, this serial killer is. And at some point you figure out it's going to be one of the playable characters, isn't it? And you go through your head. You go, it's got to be Ethan. It's got to be this. It's got to be that. It can't be Shelby, can it? It can't be. No. I mean. But then he's too nice, so you think it's the one that they're trying to get you to least suspect him. So surely it is him. But then you start to suspect the other characters because for the exact same reason. And it's just like, it just engrosses you. The game and the characters engross you. Scott Shelby is like, he helps out. There's this woman he helps out, and she's got like a baby. She's like this woman will know the baby doesn't have a father and all this kind of stuff. Her son, one of her son has been murdered by the origami killer. I tell you later on in the game that you actually find out that he himself is the it's just, I'm getting goosebumps. Just look at this. Goosebumps. Viewers beware, you're in for a scare. He had a really tragic childhood, and you play through some of that in the game. So it's just such a deep sort of backstory with him. Like, it's really built characters in this game, and Scott Shelby is no less built in his character and his arc than the rest of them. And it's such a revelation when you find out. It's just like, my God, no. And then it's just, his demeanor changes. He's like, and he's hidden it all this time. He's like, can do all these heinous things. He even gives comfort to some of the victims' family. It's just diabolical. Like, who could do that? Who in the right mind? Well, he's not in the right mind, I suppose. I mean, he's brutally tortures one of the other characters at some point in like a Saw style sort of cut your finger off, do this, or kill a kid, And he's a serial killer. He's killed many people, including children. He's a child murderer. So I think that fits him, his place this high on the list of villains. And if you don't agree, you're a bad person. You should be on the villain list. You've already been on this one. Age of Empires 2. Can't put you on twice. You're forgiven. You genocidal freak. Scott Shelby, number 2. Stop killing kids. And now, the moment you've definitely been waiting for. The moment has come. Come close. The moment has now arrived for villain number 1. But first, I'm going to keep you on your toes. Here are some honourable mentions. Beldo from Azure Dreams. Ultimecia from Final Fantasy VIII. Nasty Nork from Spyro the Dragon. Bowser, Eggman, Ganon, every Metal Gear Solid bad guy. And the perfect Marco Bartoli from Tomb Raider 2. The camera from Stitch Experiment 626. Death from Castlevania. Boss Cat from Tyler Tasmanian Tiger. I'll be here all day. My number 1 villain on my villains list is in fact none other than Zarok from Medieval 1. Zarok is such a good baddie. He's got an undead arm, he's magic, he's got a magic staff, he's got a silly old medieval hat. Stupid hat. He's got this big cool robe. Like he's a real stinker. He's a real stinker. Like, he really hates Daniel Fortescue. He hates him. And he's all like, you're too late, Fortescue. He turned himself into some big-ass dragon. He's very funny. The writing's very good and the voice actor's great. It doesn't stop him being, like, actually, you take him seriously as a baddie. You do take him seriously as a baddie. Pretty scary. He's got some pretty bad henchmen as well, like, pretty scary stuff. It's all very gothic and medieval. But it's one of the end fights is really good when he turns into the dragon. He's sending all skeletons at you, different colour ones. And you have to use the different types of magic. When you kill him, he just goes, bugger. You've just been defeated. You've been the entire game. You've been trying to kill this Daniel Fortescue again. He murders you. He kills you. He gets to the end and he thwarts your plans, all of them. That's what he got to say for himself. All he's got to say for himself was bugger. Oh, crumbs. Oh no. Ooh, bugger. Zarok is he's one of my favourites ever. Like, Zarok's too good. He's just such a good baddie. He falls under Rapscallion, I think. Zarok's an unspeakable cad. Well, thanks for sticking around for my rubbish list. Joke's on you. Gosh, that was my best time yet.